Captain John Reeves stood on the bridge of the U.S. Guardian, his eyes fixed on the giant screen that showed the stars. His uniform was crisp and neat, but his mind was racing. Today was the day that would change everything. "Sir, the alien ship is approaching. They will dock in 15 minutes, said Officer Diane Wright from her station. "Thank you, Officer Wright. Please alert all section heads," Reeves replied, his voice calm despite the tension he felt. The U.S. Guardian was not Earth's best ship. In fact, it was designed to look much less advanced than what humans could really build. This was all part of the plan. For over 50 years, aliens had been watching Earth. These aliens called themselves the Xilarians, bug-like beings with 6 limbs and hard shells. They had been studying humans from a distance, thinking humans didn't know they were there, but humans had known for a long time. Instead of revealing this knowledge, Earth's nations had secretly joined together. They built ships and weapons far more advanced than what they showed to the outside world. Today, the Xilarians would see only what humans wanted them to see, an average ship that wouldn't worry them. Commander Lisa Murphy walked onto the bridge, her red hair tied back tightly. "The crew is ready, Captain. Everyone knows what to say and what to hide." "Good. Remember, we need to seem friendly but not too smart. The Guardian must appear to be our best ship," said Reeves. "I still don't like lying," Murphy said quietly. "It's not lying. It's survival," Reeves responded. "You've seen the reports. 9 of the 17 alien races in the Galactic Council have a history of taking over lesser species. We can't take that chance with Earth." Their conversation was cut short by a loud beep from the communication system. "Captain, Ambassador Krell is requesting permission to come aboard with his team," said Wright. "Permission granted. I'll meet them in Docking Bay 3, Reeves said. He straightened his uniform and nodded to Murphy. "Time to put on our show." The docking bay was large and clean, but purposely basic. As the airlock opened, 6 Xilarians walked through. They were tall, with green-blue shells and multiple eyes that moved independently. Their leader, Ambassador Krell, stepped forward. "Captain Reeves, I presume. I am Ambassador Krell of the Xilarian Confederation and the Galactic Council," he said through a translator device on his chest. His voice sounded mechanical, but the words were clear. "Welcome aboard the U.S. Guardian, Ambassador. We are honored by your visit," Reeves said with a small bow. Krell's eyes moved around the room, taking in every detail. "This is your flagship?" he asked, his tone suggesting he was not impressed. "One of our newer vessels, yes," Reeves lied smoothly. "We're still learning about space travel compared to your people." Krell made a clicking sound that might have been laughter. "Indeed. Well, shall we begin our inspection? The Council needs to assess your capabilities now that Earth has joined our community." As they walked through the ship, engineer Steve Dawson carefully monitored the fake systems they had installed. Everything was designed to look functional, but outdated by galactic standards. The weapons systems were particularly modified to appear much weaker than they actually were. Meanwhile, 200 million miles away, hidden in an asteroid field near Jupiter, the real pride of Earth's fleet waited. The UEDF Leviathan was 5 times larger than the Guardian, with technology decades ahead of what they were showing the aliens. Only a select few knew of its existence. "Your engine room is quaint," Krell remarked as they finished the tour. "But I suppose it's adequate for a species so new to the stars." "We hope to learn much from the Council," Reeves said humbly. As the aliens prepared to leave, Krell turned to Reeves. "The inspection is complete. Earth's ships pose no threat to Council security. You will receive official membership documents within 1 Earth week." Reeves smiled and shook the alien's strange hand. "Thank you, Ambassador. We look forward to a peaceful future among the stars." But in his mind, Reeves knew peace often required strength, and humanity had much more strength than they were showing today. 2 weeks after the inspection, Engineer Steve Dawson floated in zero gravity inside the massive engine room of the UEDF Leviathan. The real flagship of humanity was hidden in a secret base carved into an asteroid near Jupiter. Unlike the U.S. Guardian, this ship was built to fight and win. "Pass me the calibrator," Dawson said to his assistant, Sam Peters. Peters pushed the tool through the air. Dawson caught it and turned back to the quantum drive housing. The technology in this room alone was centuries ahead of what they had shown Ambassador Krell. "Do you think they believed our act?" Peters asked as he held a panel in place. Dawson smiled. "Krell's report to the Galactic Council called our ships charmingly primitive. So yes, they bought it completely." The Leviathan was enormous. At nearly 2 miles long, it could house 10,000 crew members and carry hundreds of fighter craft. Its hull was made of a special metal that absorbed sensor scans rather than reflecting them. The weapons systems could destroy a small moon. All of this had been built in secret over 15 years, while Earth pretended to be developing basic spaceflight. Back on Earth, Captain John Reeves sat in a meeting room with Admiral Kate Ortiz and other high-ranking officers of the United Earth Defense Force. The wall screen showed Ambassador Krell speaking to the Galactic Council. "The humans pose no military concern," Krell was saying to the assembled alien representatives. "Their technology is at least a century behind Council standards. They will make good trading partners, and their planet has valuable resources we can access through proper agreements." Admiral Ortiz turned off the screen. "They see exactly what we want them to see." "Good work, Captain." "Thank you, Admiral," Reeves replied. "But I'm concerned about these proper agreements Krell mentioned. It sounds like they plan to take advantage of us." Commander Lisa Murphy, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. "We've analyzed the treaty they sent. Hidden in the legal language are terms that would give Council races mining rights to 20% of Earth's resources at fixed, very low prices." Admiral Ortiz nodded. "As expected, we'll sign it anyway with our own hidden changes. Our lawyers have varied counterterms that will be triggered if they try to enforce those provisions." Reeves looked troubled. "How long do we keep up this act? Pretending to be weak has advantages, but also risks." "Until we know more about the Draxians," said Ortiz firmly. The Draxian Empire was the reason for all this secrecy. Earth's long-range probes had detected their ships years ago, long before the Galactic Council made contact. The Draxians conquered and enslaved other species. They had already destroyed 3 civilizations on the far side of the galaxy. The Council races were fighting a losing war against them, though they hadn't told Earth about this threat yet. On the Leviathan, Dawson finished the engine adjustments and floated to the command deck. Captain Michelle Sanders was reviewing battle simulations on the main screen. "Engine efficiency is now at 97%, Captain," Dawson reported. "We're ready for full combat operations if needed." Sanders nodded, her short brown hair and serious face reflected in the dark screen. "Good. Our spies in the Council report that the Draxian fleet is on the move again. They may attack Council worlds near our sector within months." "Do we warn the Council races?" asked Lieutenant Paul Garcia from his station. "Not yet," Sanders replied. "If we reveal we know about the Draxians, they'll wonder what else we know, and our cover will be blown. We wait and watch." The crew continued their work in silence. The Leviathan remained hidden, its sensors gathering information about both the Council races and the approaching Draxian threat. Humanity prepared in secret, ready to surprise both ally and enemy when the time came. Back on the Guardian, Commander Murphy looked out at the stars through a viewport. "I hope we're doing the right thing," she whispered to herself. The deception continued, but time was running out. The real test of humanity's secret strategy would come sooner than anyone expected. The emergency alarms woke Captain John Reeves at 3:14 in the morning. He jumped out of bed, quickly put on his uniform, and ran to the command center. The large room was filled with officers rushing around. "What's happening?" he asked Commander Lisa Murphy, who was already at her station. "Multiple alien ships just entered our solar system," she said, pointing to the big screen. "They're not responding to our messages." Admiral Kate Ortiz walked in, her face serious. "They're Xelarian ships, but they're damaged. I've ordered our defense systems to ready status, but not to fire." The screen showed 5 ships moving slowly toward Earth. Their hulls had burn marks and holes. One ship was leaking a trail of debris. "Incoming transmission," called out Officer Diane Wright. "It's Ambassador Krell." The alien's face appeared on the screen. His green shell was cracked, and one of his eyes was damaged. "Earth Command," Krell said, his voice translator making strange noises. "We request emergency landing and help. We are under attack." "Who attacked you, Ambassador?" Admiral Ortiz asked. "The Draxians," Krell replied. "They have launched a full invasion against all Council worlds. We barely escaped." The screen went blank as the transmission cut off. Admiral Ortiz turned to the room. "This is what we've been preparing for. Captain Reeves, prepare the Guardian and our other visible ships for defensive positions, and send the signal to the Leviathan. For 3 days, Earth helped the injured aliens." The Xelarians were surprised by how quickly humans organized medical teams and repair crews. What they didn't know was that Earth had been preparing for this moment for years. On the 4th day, Ambassador Krell met with the United Earth Defense Council in their underground headquarters. Maps and data screens covered the walls. "The Draxian Empire has attacked 15 Council worlds," Krell explained. His broken shell had been patched with a metal plate. "They destroy everything and take the survivors as slaves. Our fleets are trying to stop them, but we are losing." "And now you want our help," said Admiral Ortiz. "Yes," admitted Krell. "All Council races must fight together now. Even your modest ships could help with supplies or evacuations." Admiral Ortiz looked around the table at the other human leaders, who nodded slightly. "We will help, Ambassador," she said. "Captain Reeves will command our ships to the gathering point at Proxima Centauri." "How many Draxian ships are we facing?" "Over 200 warships," Krell said. "The largest is their command vessel, which is nearly 1 mile long. Nothing in our fleet can match it." Some humans in the room had to hide their smiles. The Leviathan was twice that size. Later that day, Captain Reeves prepared the U.S. Guardian and 5 similar ships for departure. These were the only ships the aliens knew about. The crews were nervous but determined. Remember, Reeves told his officers, "We maintain the deception until Admiral Ortiz gives the signal." The Xelarians still don't know about the Leviathan. Commander Murphy frowned. "They're our allies now. Shouldn't we tell them?" "Not yet," Reeves said. "We first need to see how bad the situation really is, and if they're telling us everything. Trust has to be earned." Meanwhile, near Jupiter, the Leviathan powered up its engines for the first time. The massive ship moved slowly out of its hiding place, its dark hull blending with the blackness of space. Captain Michelle Sanders sat in the command chair, watching as her crew prepared for battle. "Set course for the emergency rendezvous point," she ordered. "Stay in stealth mode until we receive the signal." Lieutenant Paul Garcia nodded. "Course set, Captain." The Leviathan is ready. The greatest warship humans had ever built began its journey toward war. Soon, both allies and enemies would learn the truth about humanity's real power. The gathering point near Proxima Centauri was filled with ships from all 17 races of the Galactic Council. Captain John Reeves guided the U.S. Guardian to its assigned position, far back from the front lines. The other 5 human ships followed closely. From the bridge, Reeves could see hundreds of alien vessels. Many were huge and covered with weapons. Compared to them, the human ships looked small and weak. "They've put us in the back," said Commander Lisa Murphy, looking at the battle map. "They think we'll just get in the way." Reeves nodded. "That's fine. It's safer back here anyway." A message appeared on his screen. It was from Admiral Kate Ortiz back on Earth. "Operation Thunderbolt is ready. Wait for my signal." The alien commanders were gathered on the largest Solarian ship to plan the battle. Ambassador Krell pointed to a star map showing the approaching Draxian fleet. "Their main force will arrive in 6 hours," he said. "We must hold this position to protect the civilian evacuation routes." A tall alien with blue skin looked at the section where the human ships waited. "Why are the Earth ships even here? Their weapons can barely damage a Draxian scout ship." "They offered to help," Krell replied. "They can assist with rescues and medical aid." Suddenly, alarms sounded throughout the fleet. A Palexian officer rushed into the room. Sensors detect a massive object approaching at high speed. "Is it the Draxians?" asked Krell, his damaged eye twitching with fear. "No," said the officer. "It's coming from the direction of Earth, but it's not following any known flight path. It's huge." On the Guardian, Captain Reeves received the signal from Admiral Ortiz. "Show them what humanity can really do." He turned to Communications Officer Diane Wright. "Send the message to the Leviathan. It's time." Far outside the fleet's detection range, Captain Michelle Sanders of the UEDF Leviathan received the coded message. She turned to her crew on the massive bridge. "Disengage stealth systems. Power up all weapons. Set course directly for the fleet gathering point." The Leviathan's dark hull began to glow slightly as its true power came online. The enormous warship accelerated toward the alien fleet, its engines leaving a blue trail in space. Back at the gathering point, panic spread through the alien ships as their sensors detected the approaching object. "It's over a mile long," shouted a sensor operator. "Energy readings are off the charts." "Is it a Draxian superweapon?" Krell asked, his voice shaking. No one had an answer. Emergency messages filled all communication channels as ship captains prepared to flee or fight. On the Guardian, Commander Murphy watched the sensor readings with a smile. "The Leviathan is making quite an entrance." "As planned," Reeves replied. "Look at them panic." The Leviathan arrived at the edge of the fleet, dwarfing even the largest alien vessels. Its dark hull seemed to swallow light rather than reflect it. Weapon ports lined its sides, each one larger than some of the smaller alien ships. On the Solarian command ship, the alien leaders stared at the view screen in shock. "Unknown vessel, identify yourself immediately," demanded the Solarian fleet commander. The screen changed to show Captain Sanders sitting calmly in her command chair on the Leviathan's bridge. Humans worked at stations behind her, operating systems more advanced than anything the aliens had seen before. "This is Captain Michelle Sanders of the United Earth Defense Force warship Leviathan. We're here to help with your Draxian problem." Complete silence fell over the alien command center. Ambassador Krell stepped forward, his compound eyes focused on the human captain. This is impossible," he said finally. "Humans don't have ships like this. Your technology is a century behind ours." Captain Sanders smiled. "That's what we wanted you to think, Ambassador. Now, shall we discuss how to defeat the Draxians?" The next hour was filled with confusion and questions. The alien leaders demanded to speak with Earth's officials. Admiral Kate Ortiz joined the conversation from Earth through a secure channel. "You lied to the Council," Ambassador Krell said, his voice angry. "You hid your true capabilities from us." Admiral Ortiz remained calm. "We were careful about what we shared, yes, just as your people were careful about what you shared with us." "What do you mean?" asked Krell. "You never told us about the Draxian threat," Ortiz replied. "You planned to use Earth as a resource supply, not as a true ally. We knew this from the beginning." The alien leaders looked at each other uncomfortably. It was true. They had kept many secrets from the humans. On the bridge of the Leviathan, Captain Michelle Sanders watched as Engineer Steve Dawson explained the ship's systems to a group of stunned alien engineers. They walked around with wide eyes, touching nothing without permission. "The hull is made of quantum-locked materials," Dawson was saying. "It absorbs energy weapons and most scanning signals. This is at least 50 years beyond Council technology," said a Solarian engineer. How did you build this in secret? Dawson smiled. Carefully. Very carefully. The main weapons officer, Ben Harris, interrupted them. Captain, long-range sensors are picking up the Draxian fleet. They'll be here in 30 minutes. Captain Sanders nodded and turned to her communications officer. Contact the alien command ship. Tell them we need to finalize battle plans now. On the Solarian command ship, the alien leaders were still arguing when Sanders' message arrived. The Solarian fleet commander looked at the tactical display showing the approaching enemy. We have no time for this debate, he said. The Draxians are coming. We must fight together or die separately. Ambassador Krell turned to Captain Reeves, who had joined them from the Guardian. How many more secrets does Earth have? Enough, Reeves said simply. Now let's talk about how to win this battle. The alien commanders reluctantly agreed to a new plan. Instead of the human ships staying in the back, the Leviathan would lead the attack. The alien vessels would support it from both sides. Our ship can take the heaviest fire, Captain Sanders explained over the communication link. Use us as your shield and strike when we create openings. As the Draxian fleet appeared in the distance, Lieutenant Paul Garcia on the Leviathan watched the sensor readings carefully. 237 enemy ships detected, he reported. Their weapons are powering up. Captain Sanders sat straight in her command chair. Raise shields. Charge all weapon systems. Move us to the front of the formation. The massive human warship moved slowly forward, passing between the alien vessels. Many alien crew members watched through viewports, still not believing what they were seeing. The Draxians are sending a message, said Diane Wright from her communication station. They're demanding our surrender. No response needed, Sanders replied. Actions speak louder than words. On the Draxian command ship, General Vorg watched the defending fleet with his 4 eyes. His red-scaled skin reflected the light from the tactical displays. What is that large vessel at the front? He asked his advisor. Unknown design, sir. It appears to be from Earth, a newly joined council world. Our information indicated their technology was primitive. Vorg made a growling sound. Clearly, our information was wrong. Target that ship first. All weapons. The Draxian fleet fired at once. Hundreds of energy beams and missiles streaked toward the Leviathan. On its bridge, Security Chief Ryan Grant monitored the defensive systems. Impact in 5 seconds. Captain Sanders gripped her chair arms. All crew, brace for impact. The attack hit the Leviathan with enough force to destroy a small moon. Light flashed across its dark hull as the shields absorbed the massive energy. When the light faded, the Leviathan remained intact, still moving steadily forward. Shield status, Sanders asked calmly. Shields at 92%, Captain, Grant replied with a smile. They barely scratched us. Throughout the alien fleet, crews watched in amazement. The human ship had survived an attack that would have destroyed any council vessel. Now, said Captain Sanders, it's our turn. All weapons, fire. The Leviathan's weapons came to life all at once. Bright blue beams shot from dozens of points along its hull. Each beam hit a different Draxian ship with perfect accuracy. 7 enemy vessels exploded instantly. 12 more spun out of control, their engines dead. Direct hits on 19 targets, reported Ben Harris from the weapons station. The quantum disruptors are working exactly as designed. Captain Michelle Sanders nodded. Continue firing. Target their largest ships first. The Leviathan moved forward steadily, firing nonstop. The Draxian fleet broke formation, trying to surround the massive human ship. They're splitting up, said Lieutenant Paul Garcia, attempting to attack from all sides. Let the alien fleet know, Sanders ordered. Tell them to engage the smaller groups. We'll handle the main force. Throughout the Council fleet, alien commanders watched in amazement as the Leviathan tore through the Draxian ships. Weapons that had terrified them for years seemed useless against the human vessel. On the U.S. Guardian, Captain John Reeves led his small group of ships against a cluster of Draxian attackers. "Stay in formation," he told the other human captains. "Our ships may be smaller, but our tactics are solid." The 6 human ships moved together like dancers, protecting each other and striking quickly. Even these lesser human vessels fought better than the Draxians expected. Ambassador Krell stood on the bridge of the Solarian command ship, watching the battle on the main screen. His damaged eye twitched rapidly. "How could we have been so wrong about them?" he asked the Solarian fleet commander. "They wanted us to underestimate them," the commander replied. "A clever strategy. I would have done the same." At the center of the battle, the Leviathan faced the Draxian command ship. The enemy vessel was large, covered in spikes and weapon ports, but still only half the size of the human warship. General Vorg of the Draxians screamed orders to his crew. "Fire everything. Use the gravity bombs." The Draxian ship launched special weapons designed to create tiny black holes that would tear apart any target. The strange dark objects flew toward the Leviathan. "Gravity weapons detected," warned Security Chief Ryan Grant. "Impact in 3 seconds." Captain Sanders remained calm. "Activate the phase shift drive." Just as the gravity bombs reached the Leviathan, the huge ship seemed to flicker and become partly transparent. The weapons passed through it without effect, exploding harmlessly in empty space behind it. On the Draxian command ship, General Vorg's 4 eyes widened in shock. "Impossible. Nothing can survive the gravity bombs." His sensor officer turned from his station, fear on his face. "Sir, the human ship is charging its main weapon. Energy readings are beyond anything we've ever seen." At the front of the Leviathan, a large circular port opened slowly. Energy gathered there, glowing brighter and brighter, until it hurt to look at it. "Main cannon at full charge," reported Ben Harris. "Target locked on Draxian command ship." Captain Sanders took a deep breath. "Fire." A massive beam of white energy shot from the Leviathan, so bright it looked like a new star had been born. It hit the Draxian command ship directly in the center. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the enemy vessel split in half, each piece glowing red-hot before exploding completely. Silence fell across all communication channels. Both the Council aliens and the Draxians stopped fighting for a moment, stunned by what they had seen. Engineer Steve Dawson broke the silence on the Leviathan's bridge. "Well, that worked even better than our tests showed." Captain Sanders allowed herself a small smile. "Send a message to all Draxian ships. Tell them their command ship is destroyed. They can surrender or share its fate." Throughout the alien fleet, crews stared at their screens in disbelief. The humans they had thought primitive had just destroyed the most feared warship in the galaxy with a single shot. The battle wasn't over, but everything had changed. The battle ended 3 hours later. Most of the Draxian ships tried to run away after their command ship was destroyed. The Leviathan and the Council fleet chased them down. By the end, 30 Draxian ships had surrendered. The rest were destroyed or had escaped. The day after the battle, leaders from all races gathered on the Leviathan. The massive ship's meeting room could fit hundreds of people. The aliens walked around nervously, looking at the advanced technology all around them. Admiral Kate Ortiz arrived from Earth by special transport. She stood at the front of the room with Captain Michelle Sanders and Captain John Reeves. The alien leaders sat in rows before them. "You have questions," Admiral Ortiz said. "We understand that. We're ready to answer them now." Ambassador Krell stepped forward, his damaged eye now covered with a metal patch. "How long have humans had this level of technology?" "The Leviathan is far beyond anything you showed us. We've had ships like the Guardian for about 30 years, Ortiz explained. "But the Leviathan represents our true level of advancement. We've been building it in secret for 15 years. Why hide this from us?" asked the blue-skinned Palexian leader. "We invited Earth to join the Council as friends." Captain Reeves spoke up. "Did you? Our observers watched your ships study Earth for 5 decades. You took our resources without permission. You plan to use us as a source of raw materials and labor. The alien leaders looked uncomfortable. It was true. We were careful, continued Ortiz. History has taught humans that when a more advanced civilization meets a less advanced one, the less advanced group usually suffers. We didn't want that to happen to Earth. So you pretended to be weak, said Krell, understanding now. We presented what you expected to see, Sanders corrected. Your people decided humans must be primitive. We just didn't correct that mistake. A tall, thin alien with 6 arms stood up. What happens now? Will Earth use the Leviathan to take control of the Council? Admiral Ortiz shook her head. No, that was never our goal. We only wanted to protect Earth, and if possible, help bring peace to this part of the galaxy. Engineer Steve Dawson activated a large screen showing a star map. We've tracked the escaped Draxian ships. They're heading back to their territory, but they'll return with a larger fleet eventually. Then we must prepare, said the Xilarian fleet commander. Will Earth fight with us? We will, promised Admiral Ortiz, but as true allies, not as servants or junior partners. The old council structure must change. All races should have an equal voice. Many aliens nodded in agreement. The battle had shown them that their old ways of thinking needed to change. After the meeting, Ambassador Krell approached Captain Reeves privately. There's something I don't understand, Krell said. If you knew about our observations and plans, why join the council at all? Why not just stay hidden? Reeves smiled slightly. Humans don't like to be alone, Ambassador. We want friends and allies, trade and cultural exchange. We just didn't want to be taken advantage of. And the Leviathan. Is it truly your most advanced ship? Captain Reeves looked Krell directly in his good eye. The Leviathan is our current flagship. That's all I can say. Krell's antennae twitched with uncertainty. You mean there could be more? Let's just say that humanity believes in being prepared, Reeves replied. We hope the Leviathan will be enough to secure peace, but if not, he let the thought hang unfinished. As they spoke, deep in space beyond Neptune, construction continued on 3 more ships of the Leviathan class. Humanity had revealed one secret, but not all of them. Meanwhile, on the bridge of the Leviathan, Captain Sanders looked at the alien ships now flying alongside her vessel. Do you think they trust us now? Asked Lieutenant Garcia. Trust takes time, Sanders replied. But respect, that they already have. 6 months after the battle, Earth looked different. Alien ships now openly visited the planet. In major cities, visitors from other worlds walked among humans. Knowledge and technology were being shared, but carefully and with fair agreements. Captain John Reeves stood in a large room in the new Galactic Council building in Geneva. The walls were glass, showing the mountains and lake outside. Representatives from all 18 races sat at a round table. Humans were now the 18th member, with full rights. President Laura Chen of Earth stood to speak. She was small in size, but had a strong voice that filled the room. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter for all our peoples, she said. The reformed Galactic Council is built on respect and true cooperation, not domination or fear. Ambassador Krell, with a new shell and a permanent metal eye patch, nodded in agreement. The Xilarians had become strong supporters of the reforms after seeing how the old system had failed against the Draxians. After the meeting, Reeves met with Admiral Kate Ortiz in a private room. The Draxians are rebuilding their fleet, Ortiz said, showing him data on a tablet. Our long-range sensors show activity in their home systems. How long until they try again? Reeves asked. A year, maybe 2, she replied. But we'll be ready. The second Leviathan-class ship will be operational next month. Reeves looked out the window at an alien ship landing nearby. It's strange. 6 months ago, we were hiding everything from them. Now we're partners. Not completely open partners, Ortiz reminded him. They still don't know about Project Heimdall or the Neptune defense ring. One step at a time, Reeves said with a small smile. On the Leviathan, now in orbit around Earth as a visible reminder of human power, Captain Michelle Sanders gave a tour to a group of alien military officers. They had come to train with the human crew and learn from their tactics. "This is our main bridge," Sanders explained as the aliens looked around with wide eyes. "From here, we can control all ship functions." A young Silurian officer raised a hand. "Captain, is it true that humans have even more advanced ships being built?" Sanders smiled but didn't answer directly. "The Leviathan is our current flagship. It represents our commitment to galactic peace." Engineer Steve Dawson met Sanders later in the ship's cafeteria. "The aliens are asking a lot of questions about our quantum drives," he said quietly. "Share what Admiral Ortiz approved." "Nothing more," Sanders replied. "We're allies now, but that doesn't mean we show all our cards at once." Dawson nodded. "The new ships will have the improved drives anyway. Twice the power, half the energy use." Far from Earth, at a research station on Titan, humans and selected alien scientists worked together studying Draxian technology from the captured ships. Commander Lisa Murphy oversaw the project. "Their weapons are powerful but inefficient," she explained to her team. "Their ships are tough but slow. We can use this knowledge to improve our defenses." A Palexian scientist looked up from his work. "Commander, why did humans develop such advanced technology in secret? Were you planning to conquer the galaxy yourselves?" Murphy shook her head. "No. We developed it because we've learned from our own history that peace requires strength, and trust requires verification. We built ships like the Leviathan hoping we would never need to use them." "But you were ready to use them if necessary," the alien observed. "Yes," Murphy admitted. "That's the human way. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst." As the sun set over Earth that evening, thousands of people gathered in major cities to watch the Leviathan pass overhead, visible as a bright point of light moving across the sky. Children pointed up in wonder. Humanity had revealed its strength to the galaxy, but not all its secrets. The future remained uncertain, with the Draxian threat still looming. But for the first time, Earth faced that future as a full and equal member of the galactic community, and if danger came again, the Leviathan would not fight alone.